no diplomats, no nobody else. Me, Jim Jones. Check my track record, then check everybody else's track record. There's nothing that could, there's never is me. When you putting me up against anybody, I'm taking me every time. Every time. Okay.
They're two different artists, though, in two different ways of
I'm not
rapping,
comparing
right?
Jim Jones and Nas.
Okay,
no way,
because they're two
shape, or
different
form.
artists.
No,
But also, you also got to understand what Jim said.
Let's get into this Yeetie, Jim Jones versus Nas. This is something I did not think would ever be like a conversation.
Jim Jones and what Jim Jones have done in this game. A lot of these rappers have done a tremendous job, and I take nothing away from
Jim Jones went on Fat Joe and Jadakiss's. Oh, look, a topic in a topic.
Yeah.
He went on Fat.
Yo, this conversation of relevancy between Nas and Jim Jones to the current generation is wild to me, because if we keep it in a bean, neither of them are that relevant to anybody under the age of 25 years old. You feel what I'm saying? It's like, we respect what Nas has done. Hip Hop Mount Rushmore.
Fat Joe and Jadakiss's podcast and had a lot to say about some dude on the internet that said Jim Jones is better
them. But they forget, I got a hell of a catalog. Me, Jim Jones, myself. Gold records, platinum records, gold albums, platinum.
But Jim Jones has said that he is bigger than Nas. He became bigger than Nas. He gave him his flowers.
Jim says, I say stuff just to get people talking. And if you're upset with the way what I'm saying, I appreciate you because my stream.
I recently saw a clip on Instagram.
Then go to the billboards and check all my entries, then check all them entries and like if you want to go to the Billboard entries.
Jim Jones has 9 entries in the Billboard 200 with 3 top 10 albums and no number ones.
Where a young kid was comparing you to Nas.
James is bumping and people have been talking about me. So some of the stuff that Jim Jones is saying, he's just poking the bear just because he wants people to talk
By the way,
about
I
him.
like it.
But he also says that basically when it comes to later music, you know, he's wrapping circles around Nas. And here's...
Oh, no, me, Jim Jones. No diplomats, me, Jim Jones.
than Nas and has more Billboard hits than Nas.
It was a young kid. I think I believe he was like 23 or something, 22, 23.
New York Mount Rushmore, Jim Jones, legend, diplomats, all that. But it's like, if you talk about who the next generation of kids care about, Jim Jones can't be over here posturing like they care about him more than Nas.
And he was saying that for his generation, his era, they don't look at Nas. And a lot of people took offense to that. I personally did not take offense.
Check my track record, then check everybody else's track record. Then go to the billboards and check all my entries, then check all them.
All right, he also went on the Nightcap podcast with Shannon Sharp and Ocho Cinco and doubled down on his...
Might spark something different than Nas. Nas has been putting out some phenomenal projects with those King's Disease albums, right? Like, you know, but Nas is rapping about...
Just saying that you got
that's my young boy.
big hits. Yo, he looked to you.
While Nas has 27 entries, 16 top 10 albums, and 6 that have reached #1 on the Billboard.
Jim Jones just sparked a firestorm in hip-hop, boldly claiming he's a better rapper than Esco. That's right, one of rap's most respected lyricists was just challenged by none other than Capo himself. And this wasn't a passing comment, this was direct, calculated, and broadcast for everyone to hear. But this wasn't just about Esco. Jones wasn't done. In just a few days, he would take shots at the Clipse, dismiss Pusha T's legacy, and trigger a lyrical response that debuted on the runway at Louis Vuitton. This isn't your average rap beef. This is ego, legacy, and relevance colliding in real time. So how did we get here? Why is Jim Jones suddenly calling out icons? And what's really behind this wave of disrespect? Before we dive into how things started unraveling, hit that like button and subscribe to the channel if you're into deep dives like this. We break down the biggest stories in entertainment without the fluff, just facts, receipts, and a bit of chaos. It all started on the Joe and Jada podcast where Jim Jones didn't mince words. I was a superior Esco fan, he said, but when you get into the game, you realize your idols be rivals. From admiration to opposition, Jones made it clear he no longer sees Esco as untouchable. And in what many considered a jab at Esco current relevance, he added this: "My son can't tell me one Esco record." That wasn't just a generational dig, it was a challenge to Esco's place in the modern rap landscape. Jones was planting a flag and he wanted the world to notice. But Jones didn't stop there. He leaned into statistics hard. He pointed to his solo accomplishments saying, gold records, platinum records, no diplomats, nobody else. Me, Jim Jones. He dared critics to compare Billboard entries, saying outright, "I've been spanking a lot of this shh." It was a shot not just at Esco, but at the industry's memory. Jones was essentially saying, you respect the names, but you ignore the numbers. Days later, Jones added fuel to the fire, this time aimed at the Clipse. When asked about their new track, Ace Trumpets, Jones didn't hesitate. What's so great about it? He said. It's good in what? The nostalgic value. Then came the knockout. I don't listen to their music, never have, don't recall too many records I can remember. The dismissiveness wasn't subtle. He wasn't critiquing the song, he was questioning their entire legacy. And for fans of the Clipse, that hit hard. This wasn't a random shot at Pusha T, it was just the latest in a series of digs. Months earlier, Jones went off after Pusha landed a spot on a top rappers of all time list. He wasn't impressed. What has he done? Jones asked. Besides talk about cocaine that he probably didn't even get himself. And then the deeper insult. Nobody's dressed like him. Nobody wanted to be like Pusha T. I don't remember nothing. It was brutal and designed to sting. To Jones, Pusha might have bars, but influence, legacy, that's still up for debate. Pusha didn't reply with an Instagram post or a press run. He waited, and then he responded, not on a street corner, but at Louis Vuitton's fashion show in 2023. During the event, a new song premiered, one with razor-sharp lyrics clearly aimed at Jim Jones. Beware of my name that there's delegate, Pusha rapped. Crush you to pieces, I'll hum a breath of it. I will close your heaven for the hell of it. The shots were subtle but surgical, elegant but lethal. In typical Pusha T fashion, he delivered his message with class, venom and clarity, leaving no doubt who he was talking about. So what's really driving all this? It might not just be about Esco or the Clipse or even Pusha T. At its core, this could be about something deeper, relevance. Jim Jones has had a long, consistent career. He's outlived trends, dropped hits, and built a catalogue. But when legacy discussions happen, his name often gets left out. This recent run of call-outs might not be about clout. It might be about being remembered. It's about making sure his contributions aren't erased in a culture that forgets fast. In the end, Jim Jones didn't just come for Esco or Pusha T. He came for the narrative. He wants recognition, not just as a Dipset member, but as a solo artist with real impact. And while the shots he fired were loud, the silence from his rivals says something too. The real question now, will this ignite a lyrical war, or will it fade like so many rap beefs before it? Either way, one thing's clear. The conversation about legacy in hip-hop is far from over, and Jim Jones just made sure his name is right in the middle of it.